Welcome to ProjectME the Podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany Carter, the founder of ProjectME, multi-millionaire entrepreneur, former TV newscaster, money-making expert, female empowerment speaker, and self-proclaimed office supply addict. My mission is to take the mystery out of making big money. Every week on ProjectME the Podcast, I'll share success tips, strategies, and stories from other entrepreneurs, experts, and millionaires, showing you exactly how you can achieve your most exceptional life. Now let's get to it. You are listening to ProjectME with Tiffany Carter, the top-rated podcast. Today I have on a boss babe who turned her passion and purpose into a profitable business. Liz Carlile is the founder of Motherhood Unstressed, a successful health coach, and host of the podcast, also titled Motherhood Unstressed. So excited to have you on today, Liz, so we can hear all about how you've turned like your true life's calling into a six-figure business. That's damn impressive.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to share my story and what I talk about a lot with your audience.
So let us know, like, how did this all start? Like, take us a little bit on the journey of, did you have kids first and then started to think, I want to start a business, or was this always on your mind?
Wow. So honestly, that was really the impetus for everything that followed, was having my children and being in a place where I felt like I was completely overwhelmed and I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't happy necessarily with just how my life was going. I just felt like I was giving, and I was drained. You know, at the end of the day, like, I didn't want to talk to my husband. I didn't want to deal with kids. I didn't want to think about going into the office the next day. I was just done. And, you know, I had this basically an aha moment, come to Jesus moment. I was bathing my son in the tub and I just started crying. And I was like, life is not supposed to be this way. You know, this is not normal. This is not how it should be. So I started to really make my self-care the priority in my life. You know, I started to steal time for myself to go work out, to, you know, go get a massage, to do all these things that we all know we're supposed to do. But I wasn't doing it because I felt beholden to, you know, doing it all and being it all for my family. You know, if I took any kind of time away, I had this immense guilt that would come up. And, you know, I just got to a point where I couldn't do it anymore. And I had to, you know, put on my oxygen mask first, as they say, and take care of myself. And, you know, once I started to do that more and more, I started to kind of create a space for myself and hold space for myself. And I started to journal and meditate more and just really get reacquainted with who I was as a woman and a person and where I really wanted my life to go. So from there, I started to, you know, increase my self-reflection and increase, you know, just thinking about what life was really about. And I started to write, and I started a blog a couple of years ago, and, you know, just to get everything down. And after a while, I started, you know, just submitting my blog posts to different media outlets like Elephant Journal, Red Tricycle, and it was picked up. And I was like, oh, that's neat. And then all of a sudden, like, it kind of went viral. You know, it had like, I don't know, 10,000 hits or something. And then I, you know, posted it on Facebook, and then that kind of blew up. And it was just like, wow, you know, like, I hit a nerve. Like, and it doesn't really surprise me now thinking back. But at the time I was like, whoa, like, I'm just talking about my life experience. You know, this is nothing new or unique or anything, but it really, I think, touched a lot of women. And the response I got was, it shook me a little bit, because I was like, this is a real issue. You know, women are not taking care of themselves. They're taking care of everybody else, and they're dying, you know, like health issues and happiness issues, anxiety, depression, all of these things. And it's sad. And that affects really the entire family, the unit, because really the mother, the woman, I believe, is really at the center of the home and really directs the course of the family. And if she's not happy, you know, it's going to be trouble for everybody. Nobody is really going to be at their best.
Isn't it amazing how it takes us, whether you're a mom or not, whether you're male, female, whatever you are, it takes us to be in so much pain to the point where we're like on our knees and like praying and begging, like this can't be it for us to finally make such a huge shift, especially in self-care. It just, it is. That's what it takes.
Yeah. And it's sad that it takes that, but I think you're absolutely right. We don't ever, I mean, personal change is the hardest thing that any of us can do. And so it almost takes, I would much rather make this incredible change, or even if it's just incremental changes, rather than stay in this place that I am right now, because I'm miserable. This is not what life is about. I'm not happy.
No, we were not brought on this earth to just procreate and serve thy husband and serve thy children and serve thy laundry and then like put ourselves out to pasture. It's like, it's not sustainable, right. You know, like you can kind of pull it off. Like I see moms, you know, or even people like myself who, you know, I don't have kids, but I'm very involved, you know, with charities and so forth. But like it, either way, you pour so much out and there's nothing left. And for a while you can pull it off, you know, and people think you're amazing. Like I know a lot of my listeners who are moms will say stuff to me like, yeah, but you know, Charlotte, she cooks, you know, does baby food from scratch, and she does a cloth diaper service. Plus she also has a business. Plus she cooks her husband fresh meals every night. Plus, and I always say, yeah, but you know what? Talk to Charlotte in a couple years. Right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I mean, it's, you hear it all the time. These women, their kids go off to school and the women and the husband and wife get divorced because there's been nothing for her. And in that entire time, like she's literally given away her identity. And I'm not judging any woman that's done that, but I just want to stress, you know, you've got to take care of yourself. You've got to have your own interests. You've got to have your own life apart from being a wife or being a mother or, you know, being a good coworker. You've got to have your own thing going, because at some point you're going to come to the realization that, you know, you are in charge of your happiness. No one else is. No guy, no nothing is going to make you really comfortable and happy and secure in yourself. That's up to you. And it's a hard job, and you feel a lot of guilt and you question yourself all the time. Am I doing the right thing? Am I not giving enough? Am I being too selfish? But at the end of the day, it's really for the benefit of everyone that you ever come into contact with. Is if you are coming from a place of calm and self-love and just knowing yourself. I mean, you can be unstoppable.
So true. Did you have, as I call it, like I call it a jobby. Did you have a jobby, like in addition to caring for your children? Were you in like corporate America or anything before?
Oh yeah. Oh okay. Yeah. Yeah. I worked a regular 9-to-5 job. You know, in the legal fields, you know, very different than what I'm doing now. But you know, that's where I was after college. You know, I kind of just went to the next logical thing. Like, well, I graduated college. I've got to get a job. This is what everybody does.
So how did you make that transition from being an employee to an entrepreneur? Because that entrepreneurial journey, I always say that, especially that first 18 months to 2 years is pretty rough. So it takes a lot to do that. Then you add on the responsibility of having a family on top of it. So tell us how you did it.
Well, I'm still in process of doing that. I still have my regular job, but it's gotten to a point now where I can manage. I say that carefully because who knows what tomorrow brings. I'm managing everything while still working full time. And it takes a lot of sacrifice, honestly. You know, with the podcast and the coaching, I'm working 9 to 5, and then I'm coming home, taking care of the kids, doing dinner, and then I'm on calls, you know, and I'm doing what I need to do. I'm up late, but at the same time, it's so beautiful. Like I honestly love the work that I'm doing so much. It's such heart work and soul work. Like I yes, it's work, but at the same time, I'll get off of a call and I'll feel completely filled up. And it's like, of course I'm going to keep doing this. Like this is exactly, you know, where I'm supposed to be, what I'm supposed to be doing. Like I'm using, like you said, my pain and the lowest point of my life to help others. And when I do that, I'm absolutely filling my own cup.
So what is your strategy? And I know you could probably only share so much given that you technically are are also an employee. But what is your strategy? Because something I teach is called straddling, which is what you're doing now. And it's what I did too. I did that 10 years ago, where I had a corporate job, and that corporate job was, funding, paying bills, but also funding my company I was starting on the side. At what point do you think you'll feel comfortable transitioning to, motherhood unstressed full time?
Oh man, what a great question. I think it's really hard for me to let go almost. It's like, it's such a safety net, and it is such a safe place. And, I love my coworkers. I think for me, I would have to be able to 100% know that I can let go, and financially I'm going to be completely taken care of. And I'm still able to contribute the amount of money that I'm contributing to my investments and, things like that, my kids' college funds and things like that. Right now, it's kind of like my regular job is funding all of that. So it's hard for me to say, okay, bye-bye, to all of that, because it is such it's like the golden handcuffs, in a lot of ways.
Honey, I know.
Yeah, it's hard. It's like,
that was the hardest thing I did.
A little bit longer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's scary. And some people, and I'm sure, you're a podcaster, so you listen to podcasts. Some people are just that high risk mentality, and they'll up and quit their job. Now, granted, a lot of people who up and leave their job, they're so miserable, or they have an abusive boss. You actually you actually do enjoy the people you work with. It doesn't sound like it's a toxic environment. So that makes those handcuffs, right, even more shiny, so to speak. But I have more of the, I am a risk taker, but I am a practical risk taker. And it sounds like you're the same way, where you need to see that your company, your own brand, is going to be consistent, regular income that not only matches, but probably exceeds what you're currently making. Would that be correct?
Oh, 100%. That's exactly how I feel. And like you said, because I'm not in a toxic environment, I'm not one to just abandon ship, I guess. I am invested in the well-being of my office and the mission there as well. And so it is hard. It is hard to say, okay, I'm going to do this, and you have bad days and you're like, oh, of course I'm going to do this. See you later. But at the same time, you're like, okay, well, maybe I can just hold out a little bit longer, save a little bit more money, build up a little bit more of a cushion, and then make the leap. But you're right. I mean, it's a tough call. And I think it's really bio-individual to every woman listening to this. What is your number, and what does that look like for you? And can you still save money, and not just save money, but invest money? Because as we all know, the money sitting in the bank is doing nothing for you. It's actually depreciating as inflation goes on and the years go on. So you need to really have a strategic plan of not only saving, but investing. And then, as you build your business. So it's really complicated. And like I said, it's so bio-individual, but, I don't know. That's just such a great question. When do you make that decision to transition out? Because I see it coming. It's absolutely on the path that I'm on. I don't question that at all. It's more of a timing issue.
Yeah, when I teach this, I tell people you will know. You will know, and it doesn't have to be in a painful way. You'll just know. Things will start clicking, or it'll get to a point where you go, oh my God, my brand, my business, my new baby, it can't grow any further because there's no more of me left. So there's a point where it's like, okay, I'm going to have to rip off this Band-Aid or take off those golden handcuffs if this is what I really want, because I can only grow it so far with it being, so to speak, a side hustle.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's so many, I even hated introducing you with the term health coach, because I see you as so much more than that. As my listeners know, every guest I have on the show, unless it's a fluke, is someone who I've actually, followed, and I personally have some sort of affinity or attachment or value with. So I don't know if you knew that.
No, so, I'm honored.
Yeah, so I've followed you, and it's hard for me to even introduce you as a health coach because you're really so much more than that, and that's a term now that's being so almost like it's being so overused.
Mm-hmm.
So really explain like what it is that you do when you work with people one-on-one or in groups. Like, what is your niche within that health coaching world?
Right. Great question. So my niche really is relating to women based on my own life experience. And, the women that reach out to me and want to work with me are very intelligent. They're very busy. They're very high achieving type A mostly. And they're at that point where they just can't do it anymore, And so they've seen something that I've posted about how I was in that position, or they see me like I seemingly have it all together, which I don't, but like I'm able to manage my stress and the demands of everyday life. And they're like, I want that, I want to be in that position too. How can I get there? And so really like it comes down to me, just working with them on a one-on-one basis, sometimes in groups, small groups only. And that's first and foremost, discovering who you are as a person and what makes you tick, what makes you happy, what would make you happy. And a lot of times they don't even know, because no one's ever asked them that question, or they haven't even asked themselves that question. And I was actually doing a podcast earlier, and the person had just achieved financial independence, and he could quit his job. And he kind of just was looking around like, well, what do I do now? Because he had never asked himself, well, what makes me happy? It's my friends and family, but you can see them for a month out of the year or go visit them. And then what? Again, it comes back to really getting acquainted with who you are as a person and what matters to you and what fills you up, and then taking the steps to make that happen. And in a lot of ways, women come to me because they want to lose weight or, the typical things like that. But once we get going, it gets so much deeper. It's really like, well, that really wasn't the issue. The issue was you're not feeling seen by your partner. You're not feeling appreciated by your friends. Or, you feel like you're giving as much as you can and no one even cares. No one cares about you, which is, of course, not true. But that's kind of the hamster wheel that we get into. So really, I work a lot with, a lot of inner child work and breaking down those barriers and getting women journaling and meditating. And yes, movement and good nutrition and all of that, because that's all part of it. But at the end of the day, my mission when I work with these women is to wake them up to who they really are. You're not just a mom. You're not just a wife. Who are you? Who is that little girl that's been in there not being listened to all these years? And get in touch with her and befriend her and take care of her like you're taking care of everybody else. And when you do that, magic happens. And then I'm done. I kind of step away and just watch her go and watch her fly.
That's beautiful. I've done a lot of inner child work myself because I've shared I've had a pretty abusive childhood. And so I believe for 100% when you said people don't know what it is like they're passionate about or what's fun for them. I used to hate that when I was single and go on dates and people would say like, what are you passionate about? What do you like to do for fun? And then I just started making up things. No one ever asked me. No one ever cared. And I didn't ever ask myself. And I had to do a lot of work and like experiment. I didn't even know what my favorite colors were. I was so robotic. You know what I'm saying? Like I just going through the motions and just a robot in the corporate wheel. And I really didn't even know my favorite color or a favorite song or anything. It was really weird.
No, it's not weird though. Honestly, most people I think are operating on that system. We just are going through life full pace and it's getting faster and faster without ever really taking a break and going internally. People just aren't taking the time. And sometimes when you try to do that, you get a ton of resistance coming up and it doesn't feel good. And so we push it away and I'm not going to think about this. I'm going to, do something else. And so it's hard. It's the hardest work you'll ever do, but it's so worth it.
I completely agree. So for other people, whether you're a mom, a dad, whatever you are, a human, that maybe have a blog or are in a similar situation as Liz, where you have a side hustle or you're desiring to start something on the side, or you have a blog, but like no one's coming to it. Can you share some tips, Liz, on how you got more exposure for these like awesome articles that you write to help people?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first and foremost, whenever you write something, just speak your truth. Don't elaborate and don't make up stuff. Like really just tell your story. And when you do that, already you're off on a good start, and just keep doing it. Come to the computer every single day if you can, 15, 20 minutes a day. Get something out, even if it's just your mother reading it, that's okay. And then as you get better and you get more practiced at this, submit an article to Elephant Journal. All of these or submit an article to a magazine, online magazine that you're used to reading, that you like, because they're always looking for content. Like that's easy to start doing that. And then you might get a hit, or they might send it back to you and say, hey, could you tweak it this way or that way? And then take their notes and do what they say and submit it again, and keep going and keep pushing. Because at the end of the day, I mean, it's an exercise in creativity. You're able to express yourself and share your story. And I guarantee you, even if it's only 5 to 10 people reading your blog a week or whatever it may be, you're helping. You're helping somebody else. You're saying, this is where I am right now. This is where I've been. And someone else reading that who you might not even know says, that's where I am, and she did this. I can do it too. It's not a wasted effort, and even if it is just your mom reading it, like it still feels good to write it out and express yourself and get it down, because, that's what it's all about. That's where healing happens. That's where more greater self-awareness happens. And when you really start to understand how you tick and share your story with others, you get better at it and you get stronger and you want to share more and do more. And so I don't think, if you do that, I don't think you can go wrong. You just keep at it. And you'll be amazed at how your life can change and the impact that you can make over time.
Now, for people who are like, oh my God, what? You can submit your articles. How do you even do that? Like, can you tell the listeners how they would even go about doing that? Because I don't think a lot of people know how desperate even big name publications are for good, authentic content and stories.
Oh my God, they're so hungry for that. I mean, everybody is looking for that. I've submitted to, Mind Body Green and Goop and all these different things. Now, granted, they haven't been picked up, but still, if you just go to their websites, you could look for a section that says contribute or submit an article. I mean, it's on almost every single one. And so you just go through, look for that tab, and then follow what they're looking for and how they want things submitted. And it's like following a recipe. Do what they say, submit it, and then see what happens. And you'll be amazed. And like, again, you create really great content. You really speak from your heart. You tell your story, make sure that the publication is suited to what you're selling or what you're saying, basically. And who knows what could happen, and who knows where that could lead. So I really like Elephant Journal. I really like Red Tricycle, which is like a publication for moms. But if you're really into health, search the Instagram pages that you really like. I guarantee you they have a website that is looking for content to share. And so go through that avenue and see what you find.
And so when you submitted, I don't know how many articles you submitted before you got picked up. The one that went kind of viral. Mm-hmm. How many, was that your first article you submitted, or had you submitted quite a few?
It was actually my first one. It was, I had written some mom blogs, but this one, it was for Elephant Journal, and it was about meditation and how to just establish, a meditation practice, because that was something that had really changed my life. It had really allowed me to slow down and really figure out what I wanted to do with my life and who I was and all of that. And so I submitted it to them. And I think they sent it back and said, hey, can you edit this or tweak this or something?
You're like, yes, I can.
I said, I sure can. I sure can. So I did that. And then it went and was published, and it was my first published article. And it was such a moment, it's like, you think like what you were saying earlier, most people don't think that they could ever submit anything that would be published on a great forum, especially for a publication that they really respect. But who knows? I mean, the world is changing and everything is so fast, and you can absolutely make an impact. And it's usually free, and it's usually, completely accessible to anyone with a cell phone. And so take risks and do it, and see what you can do. Because it's a really exciting time right now to be alive.
Did they write you back and say, okay, you're in, we're publishing it? Or did you find out just by like Googling yourself?
No, they tell you. I mean, once you're, submit something and the publication likes it, they're going to email you back and let you know when they're publishing it or if they've published it. And then you can even go in for most publications and track your numbers and see how many views and shares that your article has had. So it's really, I mean, it's almost like a game, you can kind of follow along and see the success of your little work of art that you kind of put out into the world. And so it's a fun thing to do, especially if you love to write.
Yeah. And you guys, you could do this before you even have a business. You don't have to have a business to do this.
Absolutely.
You have to have a subject that is, true to you, that you are passionate about speaking about, or a story you want to get out there. This is something you could do today. You don't have to have a whole brand and a separate website and everything to do. That's a wonderful tip and strategy to get out there. So I want to transition over to now your next phase in your business is you're coming out with a product line. So
yes.
I'm really intrigued, and I know I'm doing a little build up here. This is something that is really a trending hot topic in the health space. So I'm curious, what has made you go towards creating an actual physical product? Because that's a huge undertaking.
It is. The decision to come out with an actual product was something I had labored over a year. Honestly, it was always something I was thinking about, but I didn't want to pick something that I wasn't, 100% full in, or that I thought, was just too much like what everything else that was already out on the market. So I toyed with different adaptogens because I'm a huge user of all different kinds of adaptogens, mushroom powders and maca root and all of that, which are fantastic, but there's such an oversaturation in the market. I was like, I don't know if I want to go that route. So I just kind of held off. But eventually, I started to learn and read more about CBD. And like you said, it is such a huge trend right now. It's everywhere. I mean, Oprah was just talking about it. And actually through my Instagram, I've had a lot of CBD companies reach out to me to work as an affiliate for them. And so that was a great way for me to try different products and see different, ways of doing things. And then eventually I just decided, now's the time. I'm going to come out with my own line of CBDs, add in some of my favorite adaptogens like green tea leaf extract and ashwagandha, and just do this thing because I talk so much about managing stress, managing anxiety, slowing down. And CBDs, as we all know, if you don't know, it does come from the hemp plant, but it's not psychoactive. So it is it's a tool to help you calm down and to center yourself while still being able to function and be a good mom. It's not like you're getting your glass or two of wine a night where you're like, I don't care about anything anymore. Like you're still able to function and be calm, but you're coming from a place of, oh, okay, I can do this, and so I'm so excited. I'm so excited to start this different project and get this going. I've already been speaking to a lot of local stores here in Atlanta. So I'm really just excited to get the word out, and to do this next thing because I love coaching. I love speaking with women. I don't think I'll ever stop that, honestly. But this is just another great way. And I think if this does well enough, I can finally say goodbye to the corporate 9-to-5 and do this full time. So we'll see.
And will your CBD be available to ship all over the U.S.?
Absolutely. Yeah, because it actually comes from industrialized hemp and it's CO2 extracted. So with that, you can ship to all 50 states legally. And that was something I really had to, work out with my attorneys and make sure that, everything was FDA compliant and, that we checked off every box, because it is still kind of I don't want to say, taboo thing, but, at the end of the day, it is. So you kind of have to do your homework. I just believe so much in this product and CBD in general. And I see what it's doing in the medical community, kids with, cerebral palsy and even ADHD, things like that. It's a tremendous, exciting time for CBD in the world. And I'm just so glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'll be excited to try it because I have anxiety that I manage in a million different ways. And so I'm very open to trying it. I've not just tried it yet because every time I research it, I get a little overwhelmed because there's so much buzz in the market about it that I get like a little overwhelmed and confused. And do I get it in a vape pen? Do I get it in a oil dropper? So I have a feeling you're going to make it really damn simple for people to figure out like if it's right for them and how to use it and how much. And I have a feeling you're going to make it really simple for people to figure out.
Oh, absolutely. And my line is, for starting, we're just going to do capsules. So you're not messing with, oil in your mouth and, which nothing against that. But I just personally, I don't enjoy that. I just like to take a capsule, in the morning and be good to go. So I will definitely send you a bottle to try and share and see if it works for you.
I would appreciate that, especially the capsule, because I travel a lot for business and pleasure. So that was the other reason I'm like, a capsule you can travel with, but what am I going to travel with? Like a vape pen and a thing of oil that's going to spill everywhere. And
TSA is going to take that now.
Right. Yeah, I would love to be your guinea pig.
Absolutely.
So I did notice on your Instagram, and by the way, if you don't follow her, it's Motherhood Unstressed on Instagram. She has a really great page. And what I noticed on here when I go into your links is that it looks like you do affiliate work or you have sponsored content from some pretty impressive health brands like Organifi. Are you monetizing that more so as an affiliate, or are you like a partner doing sponsored content?
So it's a mixture of both, actually. With the podcast, I do take sponsors, and then I also work as an affiliate. So if anyone buys anything through my links, then I do get a small commission. So it's kind of half and half at this point. But yeah, that was another great, for anyone listening, if you are creating an audience on Instagram or through your blog, check out different affiliate programs, because every single company out there is waking up to the fact that, they need to work with influencers. And you know what? Even if you only have 200 people following you, you're an influencer in some way. You're influencing those who see your content. And so kind of a fun thing to do is, what brands really speak to you, and, what would work well with what you're doing, and then simply reach out to them, get creative, and don't just say, hey, do you want to sponsor me? No, like, say, hey, how can I help you? Or do you have an affiliate program? I would love to share your brand with my followers and see what happens, because like I said, times are changing and, media is changing, and how brands are connecting with their audience is absolutely changing, and they're realizing it.
Yeah, and especially if you start out as an affiliate, and for those of you who might not know what that means, and is, whatever brand it is, we can use, let's just say it's like, a protein powder brand or something like that. And you talk about it's a brand you already use, and then people can click the link in your profile to buy that protein powder, and then you receive, anywhere between like 8 to 10%. Basically almost like a commission, a referral fee, so to speak, for referring someone. But what's cool is on the other side is, even if you have a small audience, but that company that you're doing, you have the affiliate set up, and they're seeing that they're getting sales through you, that can parlay into something much bigger. Would you agree, Liz?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And honestly, when I was first starting out and just kind of putting my feet in the water, that's how it starts. You just start by being an affiliate. And then once you start generating more sales and they're seeing that you are, kind of a force for them, then they're going to start giving you sponsorships and paying for things. And it's just kind of the evolution of things. But they have to, and I completely understand like what brand would just automatically pay, for someone that may or may not work out. When you can prove that you are generating sales and you are a valuable asset, then of course, you're going to be paid more. I mean, it's like anything else.
Right. It's what's in it for them. It's not just, you have to show what is your value add, what is it you're bringing to the table, and it can't just be talk. You have to have some proof. And if you don't have proof yet, you need to be patient and create that proof by having those affiliate links and taking pictures showing using the product or talking about it, not in an obnoxious way, in a way that's natural that you normally do every day. Right.
Well, and that's the thing too. Like, it's such a great way to, again, tap into your creativity. And if you're really excited about a product, if it's something that you use, or maybe they send it to you to try out and give a review, like it's going to be natural. It's going to be authentic, which I think is honestly why it works so well, because you're excited about it. You do want to tell it's like in anything else, you would tell your friends about this product. So it's actually super genius. And I love that, it's the way that marketing is evolving, because I feel like it's more authentic and real than anything else. And, it works. If you're honestly excited about something, if it's changed your life in some positive way, share it, talk about it. And often, even if a brand wasn't even working with you, you weren't even an affiliate, they can see that once you tag them. And then they might reach out to you. And then who knows where that could lead. So play with that as well. If there's something in your life, some skincare line that you really like, or, a clothing brand that you really like, take some really beautiful pictures, write a great caption, and see where it goes. Because you don't know who's watching your content. You don't know where it could go. So you are not stuck wherever you are. There's always different ways to get where you want to go.
Amen to that. What a perfect note to end on. And I will say, once you send me your new line, your CBD line, and I try it, this is how it works, guys. This is the reverse. She's going to send me that. She already knows, because I've already shared that I've been interested in that line. I'm diagnosed with anxiety, and that works for me. Well, of course, that helps me. I'm going to want to share it. And I'm assuming you're going to have some kind of an affiliate program. So I want to share it. Now I can have an affiliate program and, be rewarded for sharing it. So you get to see how that works from both sides, right? So I've got to say, Liz, this was such a wonderful time to spend with you. You gave real practical strategies and tips that people can take away and use today. And I imagine anyone who's listening feels a lot less stuck or trapped in their current situation.
Oh, well, I'm just so glad that you asked me to do the show, and you're an amazing host, and you really bring so much value to your listeners.
Thank you. So you guys love this episode. And while you're listening to it now, take a screenshot with your phone, post it in your Instagram stories, post it on Instagram or Facebook, and make sure you tag myself, and you also tag Motherhood Unstressed, so that we can see you liked it, you got something out of it. And I know on my end, I for sure will share that to my audience too. And plus, it'll make both of us super, super happy for the day. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Liz.
Thank you so much. Bye, Tiffany.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.